Greetings in the best of salutations. That would be prayer, power, peace, patience, and prosperity. Yes. Where am I? Always trying to find my place of belonging. The challenge is one must try to find his or her place of belonging inside of his or herself. Now, I am always doing multiple things because thoughts come to my mind, and when thoughts come to my mind, I seek to go ahead and just express those thoughts. That which I was looking for was right under me. And that could be a challenge when it comes to cognitive dissonance, meaning that we have this fixation on things, and when one comes to challenge one's core beliefs, they act or react in a certain way that could be very hostile or very unpleasant, meaning unfriendly. Then it could be contingent upon how it is expressed when challenging one's core beliefs. What sparked this expression is that I was putting something together in regards to some books that I have written, and I say that reluctantly and hesitantly. Yes, and because way I feel personally, and in that which of the minimum support. But I've learned to maximize the minimum, and also accessibility to financial support. But I've learned to maximize the minimum. Yes. And it was in that it was a flyer that I was creating and give to the gift of social literacy, or books on social literacy, because I believe that we must become socially literate, and it starts at an early age due to one's cultural background and one's family background and one's individual experiences shapes his or her, or shapes our worldview. Yes. But the journey begins with a self-introspection and a look at self as well as others. You see, it's two. It's a struggle. First of all, it's three. Actually, a self-introspection, then a look at self and others. Doing so for coming into a better humanity, which means It's transforming. It's a transformative power. When it comes to social literacy, and the journey begins with self-introspection. A self really means a soul. A look at or into the soul again, which means it takes deep reflection or meditation. Like I always say, looking at your own personality or associated with your actions, and considering your own motivations. So it sounds like ownership, and that which we own is that which has been given to us is primarily is our faculties and our conscious. But nature comes to awaken us to that. Therefore, we must be responsible with it. Yes. So, it is the intention in the usage of a thing, and even the use of our limbs. And then, therefore, we must take ownership of our actions. But remember that the cultural background and the family background and individual experiences shape our lives. And yes, so then there are those who may have grown up believing in a certain thing and practicing a certain thing and used to living a certain way, and they can become, those beliefs can become challenged, and one may not like how they may challenge that which they believe in, because it's been working for them. That's fine. This creation, by the way, is to benefit us. And I think that our faculties and our limbs and our nature, it should be used to benefit us. This creation is to accommodate us. But you can tell the collective psychology of one's mentality by what he or she produces. But so, if anything that is causing any injury, hurt, harm, and danger of another, you have to look at the mentality of a person, or of a people, and they must take responsibility, personal responsibility for the consequences of their actions. So, but considering your own motivation, when one does anything, a particular crime, well, we want to know what is the motivating factor. You look at one's cultural background and one's family background and individual experiences. Now, out of those three, which has the greatest influence? I don't know. You think about it. Okay. Culture could be defined, and I gave it a definition of the totality of a people's thought and practice, and culture associated with the word agriculture. And agriculture is associating with something that is to be productive, to produce something. And the family has produced something. The culture produced something. And the individual experiences. Individual, the sum total of the whole, and we hope that the sum total of whole becomes coherent. You see? We see that it is a matter of one being incoherent, not cognitive, not clear on. And I'm not downplaying anyone that says that they are not clear, because I realize out of understanding comes consciousness. And I think Kwame Ture said the duty of the conscious is to make the unconscious aware of the unconscious behavior. But awareness of their potential and in the purest form. And thank you for one individual who said, help me. Said you consolidated. I says one's in one's potential purpose is to reach its full potential, and that is to move from sympathy to empathy. And it's difficult. What challenges we see people stuck on making that transition from sympathy to empathy. So therefore, what we're dealing with is a spirit of apathy. Yes. Whether people want to set the that's on them. It's just clear to me, man, and it's resonating in my head. I know not everybody, but I may be getting a little emotional, and it's wise and painting a broad brush. So I have to be balanced. So yes, and that is to reflect carelessness and callousness. Yes, that's when we're dealing with a spirit of empathy. Spirit of apathy. So purpose, yeah. So, but this reflection and review, when it comes to self-introspection, and I know I was going to deal with what has the greatest influence of culture, a background, and family background, and individual experiences. But I'm gonna see if I can get to that. Meditating and understanding. These are tools that one can utilize to get a deeper understanding of himself and how he or she sees the world, and you can't judge the world based on one particular era in life or one particular incident that may occur. So you want to meditate and develop deeper feelings, because motivation and environment is very important when one goes to take a test, because the test is designed to see how you process information. So this is a test, this environment, this planet of Earth. So then we can look at what is being transformed right before our eyes. Isn't the body of knowledge the best creation of how it transforms our thinking and the environment in which we live? When it comes to the culture background, the family background, the home and the area in which the family lives, and the individual experiences. You can look at a child. Some of you may have children, and you can see how the innocence of the child is being transformed. It's the innocence. So yes, and that be the case. The mind itself, we deal with word. I say word. We live in a word oppressive environment, maybe. And I always say that, like if it is so. But as a child, the word, you don't necessarily have to communicate a word to the child, but the child is paying attention in the manner and way in which you all are interacting with one another, the manner and way in which you're interacting with the environment, and the manner and way in which you're interacting with the child. You're communicating and sending a message to the child. It is almost like looking in a mirror when it comes to cultural background, family background, and individual experiences. Yes. 3Ds, if you want to use that language. So, as the child grows up, because children are merely the extension of their parents' social relationships. So, still dealing with social literacy. So, as the child grows up, he may be introduced to the culture and the influence of the culture. And needless to say, there are those who your parents may get you out of a particular environment and take you to an open environment rather than a closed, tight living quarters. And then, but now we're dealing with exposure now. So you're exposed to new things and new ideas. A different environment. It's almost like an extended culture, an extended family that is transforming your individual experiences. Ain't that something? And I know some people in the religious sense, and people who like to read, they read, and their reading take them to another place, you know, and that transforms that culture or that religious culture. It transforms their individual experience, and it makes them to feel a part of the family. A universal family. So it means we are universal people and we're global citizens, you know. So yeah. But the local culture, influence, and background, and the local family background, and you look at their individual experiences and how it has impacted and transformed their lives, and if it has done so in a very traumatic way, then it could affect the child. Yes, and then therefore it becomes, the activity becomes a drama of re-traumatization. Yes, a drama of re-traumatization. Yes. And it's almost like harboring. The body is not to harbor ill will feelings. And you get to a point where you realize that the illness, the disease and the sickness, is that one becomes the sickness of the disease. One becomes subjected to those experiences. Yes, to those experiences. When it comes to culture background, family background, and individual experiences. It's kind of interesting. Yes, it makes me think about my personal experience when it comes to associated with culture background, family background, and individual experiences. Yes. So there is no model, so much a model for me, individual model. People look for models. There's really not really a specific model for me. So I have to experience this transformation, if I may use it. more than likely, I would say, and I'm dealing with the law of probability on my own, and I seem to feel that way, but then there is some evidence that supports that. I don't have any, I don't say any, but I have some what they call formal education. I so, and I am not able to put all of everything together, the pieces of the puzzle together. But remember that we are all here to serve as a benefit one with another, because without connection there is no growth. I like what a sister did when she went to school and got her degree, and her name was and a very rare used name, Dr. Frances Quelch Wilson, and how she looked at the work of Nina Fuller in his work and saw the merit of his body of work, and she pushed that what he had, as well as her influence of and her credentials, formal credentials, if I may use that, and how she pushed that, his thought or his idea or his research or his merit or body of work, and as well as hers. They was working together in that wise, and I'm not saying they were together like him and her physically on a display, but his body of work she pushed. And I think that one of the challenges specifically and I'm not downplaying it, and I'm saying because I use the word African American, but it's always who's going to best elevate the race. Martin Delaney, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, W. Du Bois. Let's go on and on and on. And the trickiness and sophistication of the system in which we are under here in America is that those who created this system, they're behind the scenes manipulating and calling the shots. And they will bring you on to be a part of their support their ideology and the monolithic structure of the society. And then it would take away the stability, take you away from the stability, and take you away from those who may need you the most. How do you balance that? How do you balance that? And also the sophistication of it. And I'm not, I can go back to ancient Egypt or Kemet, where someone would bring you on just to study your psychology, But it's just psychology is merely how a person, will react or respond spiritually. That's cool. So, but yeah, that will bring you on because the king don't know what's going on. He got to send out people and they bring them back their report. So the system, people who created this system here in America, they would do that, and they would be using you to figure out or get into your mind to see what you're thinking, and not only see what you're thinking, to see how people who are of like you, how they are thinking, and it just it gives them credibility, and you help give them credibility. Yes. So. That's why I say that society is under social reconstruction, where our feelings are becoming desensitized, our thoughts demoralized, our attitude dehumanized, our communication language devitalized, and our activity is destabilized. Remember, transforming power, always transforming. Yes. And Religions would do that too as well. But needless to say, any wise religion would know that people ain't going to believe the way you want them to believe. No. And any wise believer know that you don't impose nothing on no one else. Any wise religion knows that it's something that is natural. That you come into something naturally. Yes, come into something natural. So, what is this expression all about? It was all about, man, understanding the importance of self-introspection, looking at one's own personality and in actions and considering one's own motivations. It's about reflection and review, meditating and understanding your deeper feelings, alternative solutions, and processing that, because remember, people are acting out. People are responding and reacting due to the extent of the damage and the injury that has been done to their humanity, cultural framework, cultural background, family background, and individual experiences. Who and what controls those three there? No one, they say no one is independent of the culture. Don't know. Family. Is it genetic family or non-genetic family? Individual experiences. I've said the individual is the sum total of the whole, so we're talking about being coherent versus incoherent. Retention or attention span. So, cognitive therapy is needed, as well as dialectical therapy. Mediation, meditation. May we get in touch with a deeper understanding of our feelings and our emotions. Feelings is something outside. You touch it, you know it's going to burn. Your emotions are it's natural. It's inside of you. The ancient Egyptians had something that they say, I just use the word ancient Egyptian, however how you want to choose it. To look for the world, or you're the world, or look for your place in the world. Outside, or look for the world outside of yourself, outside of your soul, is to project an illusion. So, have many become very delusional? I don't know. It says in the English Bible that I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom. A key is a place of entry. Huh? We have entered. And something has entered inside of us, but we have entered into this environment. And it's all contingent upon the intentions in which we utilize a thing. And I always come to conclude It's the manner and way in which we treat each other and treat this environment. May we continue to do our best to treat each other and ourselves in the best of ways for the development of one's intellect, for the betterment of humanity, because you can tell the meaning of a thing within the context in which it is used. Educationally, politically, financially, religiously, socially. If I say educationally, I don't know. If I say financially, I say economically. Politically, I say socially. I say religially, I say spiritually. The use of our eyes, the use of our limbs, the use of our everything, the use of our anatomy. They're just tools that will help us to be productive. Optimum health. Until next time, talk to you.